Okay, so we are live. Ibrahim is the first PMP. Abhishek, Isam Khan, Lisa, Anirudh, Jangir, Ali, Abhilash, Sabir, Asad, Manish, Abhishek, Mr. Jamal, Mr. Amer, Alvin, Neha, Mr. Raju, Pradeep, Amit, Rashmi, Uzair, Rash, Gulam, Aarti, Pawan, Tarek, Iqtidar, Numan, Mandar, Mosam, Niju, Wasi, Usman, Zal, Harf, Abhilash, Kam Babu, Rashid, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Raju, Hasib, Saban, Rawana, Ubair Babar, Mr. Zakir Hussain, Zagam, Shaji, Dr. Aarti, Azim, Surinder, Nisar, Mary, Namat, Mangesh, Srinivas, Subramaniu, Sundela, Nadir, Kamal, Christopher, Mansoor, Venkat, Unindra, Sasim, Amir, Nabil, Alif, Ashish, Usman, Naveen, Vivek, Ali, Naveed, Ali Al-Balushi, Pradeep, Mansoor, Faslin, Sachin, my 200 certified PMP, Vijay. Now this was old. Now we have my 248 certified PMPs and we are moving at a fast pace. I want to get to my 500 certified PMP goal and it cannot be achieved without this guy who cleared PMP. Rojan, first of all, congratulations for clearing PMP. Just to
Thank
give a
you.
little bit background of Rojan. Rojan is from Kerala, working in Dubai. He joined my one-to-one mentor program, and he's a very focused, dedicated, a man with a plan. You give him a plan, you share with him how to work into that, and he will make sure that he achieve it. So, Rojan, please tell your story, success story of PMP. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for giving this opportunity, Mr. Amar. To tell you about the story, yeah, it was a great journey. I think this PMP certification is one of the most important experience for me. The reason being, I've been planning to take this certification for quite long, and this time I was deciding let's do it now or never. So that was the approach I had taken. So fortunately, with your help, we had worked out this plan, and then fortunately, I was able to take this in 1.5 months. So
Hmm.
that was the whole journey about it. And the reason I went with your one-to-one program was since my timing, the work timing, it was not a friendly timing for me to join your the other regular classes. So I went with this one-to-one, and it helped me in terms of the messages, all the clarifications we exchanged. So a lot of inputs. I think in this 1.5 months, I learned a lot. I'm pretty sure that I can use this in my professional career as well. So thanks for all the help.
Sure. Thank you very much for joining and trusting me. It's always an interesting thing when a new student is joining, like especially when you want to join and want to work, starting the work is always an interesting thing. But with you, throughout the journey from the day one, I have enjoyed working with you. I enjoyed every single thing step by step. And we could have done this earlier, but your job is, man, quite a busy job, I would say. Yeah, if anyone has any question that they want to ask to Rajan, they can put in the chat box. This guy cleared PMP, and he is one in the right position to answer every single question that you may bring for the PMP context. It is the right time to ask him any questions. Okay, Sajid Iqbal is saying congratulations. Caroline, the certified PMP who did it on Sunday, she is saying congratulations. Basit, my one-to-one student, is also from India, is saying congratulations. So let's talk about the exam. So you booked your exam in the center. It was a business-based center in Dubai,
Yeah, it was in Business Bay, JNS.
GNS. Okay, and at what time your exam was?
The schedule was at 2 p.m. But I went early there. It was at 12:30. I reached, and then they allowed me to start early. So the whole procedure, in fact, I think the early procedure of, I think it's a 7 minutes. Initially, we have to do some procedure and some terms and conditions things. And I started, I believe, around 12:45, and left the whole exam after 5:20 or something like that.
So what? Okay. So let's talk about the time management. Now, this was one thing as we were having dinner, we discussed that thing. How important was time management?
Yes, yes. In fact, in my exam, I think the most difficult part was time management. I knew this time management is the key, but unfortunate situation was my first, I would say, 40 to 50 questions was tough. The tough more than what I expected. So what happened was in my first 60 questions, I think I took around 88 minutes, which is huge.
88 minutes. Yes, too
88
much.
minutes, which is huge.
Hmm.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I believe the psychometric analysis, the test which is followed in PMP, right, that helped. So the level of difficulty has been decreased after 40 to 50 questions, and then I was able to come back on the track. And the last section, which is 60 questions, I had 62 minutes, though it was less, but still made up some, or I would say caught up with some time, and then got back into the track. And interestingly, the last question, the 180 question.
I was gonna ask tell the story of last question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the last question, I pressed on the answer, and it showed the time expired. Maybe it registered my answer, or it didn't, whatever. Fortunately, but the when the result came, it didn't make much sense, because everything was about target, and I
result
didn't
was
have any
target.
regret that the
Yeah,
last test I missed.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so very good questions coming from Basit. Need to ask how difficulty of real paper as compared to ATP questions. So let's talk about those ATP questions or those last facilitated method simulator I gave you. If you compare I'm not talking about the one section difficulty, the
Hmm.
whole level of difficulty. So how would you compare it?
Difficulty level, it varies. I think in this whole 180 questions, I think the most important part we have to understand is this psychometric analysis. The way in which the algorithm works. It actually tests you with some difficulty questions, and then it gives you same set of situation in another simpler question also. This is what I observed, and it actually checks whether we have captured the same answers or no. I think that is on basis we are being gauged with our mindset check, because this difficulty, it varies based on how they frame the question, right? Eventually what I feel is almost all questions in the way the every mocks and the ATP questions which Mr. Amer has suggested, I believe all these are having the same set of difficulty, but the way PMP questions are framed, it can trick you sometimes, even thinking that even let's say a three answers are kind of looking right. So what do? This is not the practice we used to have, right? At least two answers, it may look like right, but the experience with me was I felt almost three answers right, and then that's how it was. So the way they frame the question, I think there is a difference, but eventually I believe what's going to help you is, if you know the concept and if you have developed the mindset, I think it's going to be easy. So basically, PMB checks about the mindset only. Fortunately, there was no question checking your knowledge on any concept. Say, for example, it does not ask you about what is a cost variance analysis, right? It does not ask you about your proficiency in terms of understanding a tool or a technique. So these things were not there. And not even one formula question was there, which means there was no maths, there was no formulas to be done. So it actually checks your mindset. That is more important. And if you continuously learn these topics and go through different mock questions, once you get the mindset ready, I think it is good to go. That's what I believe PMP is focusing on.
Love the answer, and you also answered But Sajid is asking how many mathematical questions. There was no question of for
No,
mathematics. Okay.
no.
Grace, she's also from South India, and actually, she was the one who said, "Okay, sir, I'm from Tamil." So yeah, hi Rojan, congratulations. Just curious to know what strategies you followed with the limited time you had from work. So her question is three-part question, and this is the question like you can answer. We were discussing like before we were having this discussion that he has a limited time, and that's why we were unable to record journey in last 2 days. Let's answer in three part. So what strategy you followed with the limited time you had from work?
Yeah, thanks for that question. It's a great question. I believe, like you, Grace, a lot of people are going through a similar situation where to struggling or how to get the time after the work, right? I think this is one of the key things which we need to address during this learning time. Unfortunately, I had a little time to go through daily. That was one of the main reason I went with the one-to-one program. And what I did was after 8:30 or 9, once my work is done, until 12 or 12:30, I was sitting in front of laptop and going through the materials and doing the root cause analysis, like what Mr. Amer suggested earlier. Doing the root cause analysis and going through the same set of questions or the topics again, write down in a notebook. If you are using OneNote or any other notes application, you can write down which are the points in which you need to revisit, because this whole PMP is about a lot of technical jargons. I'm pretty sure it's not easy for you to mug up, nor to understand the concepts from day one. So you have to make small notes, or whichever the points where you need to go and revisit, just note it down. And you once you go through the mock questions, and you will encounter, if you are working hard, you will encounter same challenges in terms of, okay, this concept I am not aware of, no, still I am not aware, I need to clear it. So once again and again when you encounter it, you are actually increasing your memory in terms of what is it, or some understanding issues you are clarifying there, and accordingly you are covering almost all key points. This is a strategy I have taken. I didn't know it was going to work, but seems like it worked. But this is what one major advice I need to give you. uh, Find as much as you can. For example, if 3 to 4 hours if you can find daily, that's great. And weekend, in fact, last 1.5 months I didn't go even out, except one day I didn't go out on any other weekends. So I was sitting at home only and doing this learning continuously, doing mocks and things like that. So that was a strategy I have taken. All learning I have done is from Amer's documents, and especially when we encounter some questions, I was checking Google, or in terms of the different materials which is produced by Google. I was looking at it, referring it, and that's how I have collected my notes as well.
Yeah, that was a very well answered. Okay, so AR is saying congratulations. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this thing. Going back to the exam, guys, once more time, Rujan is answering beautifully. Like I am just loving the how he's answering in depth, and the way he answers the question is awesome. If anyone has any question, put it in the comment box, and Rujan will get back to it and answer it. Rujan, how many drags and drops we had in the exam?
I think I had around 10 to 12. For sure,
Mhm.
I had 10 to 12. Yeah. And
And
there
were
was
they?
one.
How?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. I had made my own drag and drop question. I guess it's 40 or 50. So how relevant they were? Were they helpful in that preparing your mind for the drag and drop?
Yes, yes. In fact, I can tell you this drag and drop may be one of the type of questions which will eat up your time during the exam. Because let's say if you are given 8 9 options, and then if you when you're asked to place from right to left or left to right, then it is going to take up your time. I'm pretty sure in my 190 questions, these type of questions took my major time, because we wanted to ensure at least one of it. If it is wrong, then our question answer is wrong, right? It is considered as a wrong. So it
Who
was done.
says? Who says it is considered as a wrong?
I mean,
PMI
that
does
is
not. No, 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 no,
yes.
no, 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 no. That is your assumption. That is your
Okay.
assumption. PMI does not disclose this thing that how it will happen. According to a consensus of many trainers, it is that if you get 50% right, you get a half mark. So something like that. But
Great.
yeah,
Great. Yeah, then that's great. But one advice I have is definitely when you are given with this 8 9 options, it may trick you, and then you may look at the clock and see that time is going down. So let me leave that. In fact, one of the drag and drop questions, it appeared to me, let's leave this question and let me get on to the next one. But I didn't leave it. Eventually, I answered it, and then only I went. But the questions you gave, Mr. Amer, it really helped in terms of how to do this drag and drop, and how to calm our mind during this question, right? Because this is not a typical question where it's completely different from your situational question. And one key thing I need to highlight here, there was a typical question which is like from two types of drag and drop was there in one question, where it was asked for one sentence.
you
It
cannot
asked,
share the exact question, Rujan.
right. I'm not saying the exact question, but it asked for one sentence to do the drag and drop, and for another sentence, do another drag and drop within the same question.
Hmm.
So it was basically two sentence or two concept for us to answer it in drag and drop. That I considered, kind of something new. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I was very happy when Rujan came out and he called me and he told me, sir, exam was very difficult. And I said, I'm very happy. He said, why? I said, because if exam was easy, there is no fun at all. When you are at your toes throughout the exam, then that's an interesting exam. Then that's something a challenging thing to do. If you yeah, then that's interesting. So Arshad is asking the same thing about drag and drop. So drag and drop are more of a knowledge base or situational base?
mostly knowledge only.
Mostly.
It's not situational. Yeah.
Mostly knowledge based, not just situational based. Okay. Were there any question on critical path where you have to calculate the critical path
There was no calculation as such, but if I remember, one or two questions where they are revolving around that concept.
or revolving around at the concept? Okay. How many compliance questions?
I would say quality management was there. Compliance was less, maybe 4 5 questions only. But on quality, risk, and stakeholder, that was the main basis on which questions were there.
Mhm,
Mm,
mhm.
But one thing is, most of the questions was on the concept of agile and hybrid only.
Yeah, and my next question is to that point of view. So the most important thing in exam is first agile, hybrid, then stakeholder communication and team. This is the heart and soul of PMP, right?
Correct, correct.
Yeah, because in the
But
bank, yeah.
once I come out, I was thinking how many questions I had on predictive. My mind answered none. That was my
That's a good
almost
one.
hybrid
That's
and agile only.
That's a good one. So, because with the batch 9, which is basically in progress, we did day 3. Actually, we were only able to do stakeholder communication team, of course, fundamental stakeholder
Mm.
communication team and agile. And I told them, okay, I'm stopping this class, but if you do this thing and you control that thing, we can clear the PMP. So, that is kind of a right in a way.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's correct.
that. Okay, Rujan, now I'm gonna remove myself from the screen, talk to all the PMP aspirant who are gonna watch it, and give your advice how they can prepare for PMP in the best possible way. Please.
Great. Hi all. So, like I said, the time management is one of the things which you need to master for this exam. But apart from that, when you prepare, definitely think about this. You should have maximum 1 to 1.5 months. I think you can clear it less than a month. But let's say if you are busy with work, or let's say if you are not able to spend a lot of time on the learning, keep 1 to 1.5 months as your time frame to complete this. If you are exceeding this, the bigger chance of you leaving this whole journey is quite huge. So I would say, you get focused on this. Sometimes it may be tiring because you are taken back from the social life, and you are not meeting people. You're always sitting in front of laptop, which is obviously you're doing during the work. But of course, if you are spending, or let's say, if you want to spend some time, definitely you will get the fruit out of this. And like I feel now, I'm really feeling stressed. The entire stress has gone out, so the entire stress has been relieved. So that is the feeling I have now. So I believe you can get into that same situation if you work hard. Keep this 1 to 1.5 months as a time frame to complete this, then I think you will be PMP certified. So that's what my advice. If you have any questions, please feel free.
Loved it, especially the thing that 1.5 month, where people are saying you need 6 months, and here with 1.5 month, with a person having a child, having a working wife, that I want to point out, Rojan, because when if you have a spouse who does not work for both side, like the things become easy. But especially like in my case, in your case, in other people case, you both parents are working. You have to give time to your son or daughter. You have to give time full time to your job. You have to manage so many things, and you have to travel internationally and doing so many things which delayed the thing, and you can clear the PMP in 1.5 month. That is the beauty of our program, and that is the beauty, as you said. If you put the commitment, yes, my social life will go down. Yes, maybe I will not be watching few movies. Yes, to all those things. But this is the Moscow. Must have, should have, could have. Rajan, you know that I always end my every recording journey with the each one teach one motto. You have just cleared PMP, and I guess you are in the one PMP aspirant group. I will add you to the other PMP aspirant group. Let's help each other and let's make this community better. Because I can see the way you answered, the how you can help into the community. Let's keep moving forward with that thing. Do stay
Sure.
after the call. I want to talk to you. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining and become PMP. When you do let me know. Would love to record your journey. With
Thank
that,
you.
if you want to join the program, you have my number, you have my email address. Join it. We have 248 PMP. We are going to reach 500 PMP in this year. Thank you. Bye bye.
I would have not
Thank
been
you.
able to
Thank you.
clear the exam if Amer Ali would have not been there. I would have not been there.
I did not believe that I will be able to clear my PMP within a month.
I don't know what to say.